Hello and welcome. This is Double Stuffed Aura here, and today I'm bringing you another Steam specials, daily deals, and all that good stuff. Today, the first game that we're going to be looking at is Risen 2 Dark Water Collection. Risen 2 is an RPG action adventure game. It is the second in the franchise. It takes a pretty big turn. It has the same character, but it's hardly recognizable. It is set in a more, well, as you can kind of see, a pirate theme. You are a pirate. The aesthetic behind that and the world itself is quite amazing. Unfortunately, it is riddled with small problems that cause this game not to do as well, and the world itself is not as open and doesn't reward free roaming and searching for things as much as the original one did. But all that aside, this is it's a solid game, very interesting. The graphics and art style are incredible. You feel like you're a pirate, and it's a very, very strong game on that side. Just the combat's a little chunky, and it's just not as open world, which a lot of people didn't like about it, because that's kind of what made this game great. But they did fix up all the small problems of getting lost. There's a very sophisticated map quest system where it'll help track you and all that stuff. And it's broken up into 4 small islands instead of one giant world to explore, which helps a lot. Okay, let's look at this deal. It is 66% off for the entire thing, which brings it down to $24.80. This deal includes all the original game and then all the DLC, it looks like. Is this a deal? It could be argued no and yes. It just really depends if you have enjoyed this game before or have the original game. If you have enjoyed the original game and you do like this kind of pirate RPG action free roaming game where you can just decide where your character goes, because there are no class systems, you just kind of put points in places and then that eventually turns you into a class. It's an interesting game, but the problem is the combat system's pretty. I mean, it had a lot of potential, but just wasn't pushed far enough. I don't believe that DLC fixed any of that. Also, it has this voodoo mechanic, kind of like Skyrim's magic, where it really doesn't have much impact on the game. It helps a little bit, but just doesn't. I mean, there's a lot of things that this game's good at, and then there's some things that just quite didn't make it. I think it could be worth it if you guys are interested in this kind of game. If you played the first one and you enjoyed it, you'll probably really enjoy this one. Maybe not as much as the original one, but for this price, it would be totally worth it. So, if you've played these games or the Gothic games, which this developer has also made, or publisher, I'm not sure which one, this is definitely a game you should look at and consider picking up. Okay, our next game, Blocks That Matter. This is a small indie, pretty much puzzler game. Basically, you're this cute, adorable little robot, and you have a drill, and you can drill up certain rocks, stones, and all kinds of things, and you collect them. I believe you can only, collect 4, and then place those 4, and then collect some more, I think is how they do it. Anyway, it's limited on how much you can collect and place, because the whole game is built around destroying certain blocks, and then replacing them so you can get around the world. So, it's a very interesting game. The art style is, I want to say, almost a little old school retro, but not too far back to retro. I think it fits the game very well. It's a nice, kind of simple, pretty, almost almost a like a 2D Minecraft kind of style. Simple colors, simple designs, but it's really nice. As I just said, it is a 2D kind of platforming game with the whole block system I talked about earlier. I think it's a great game, and it's on sale for I think it's 50% off. Yeah, 50% off. So it's $250. Pick it up if you enjoy puzzling games at all. I would definitely pick it up. So if you guys are interested in puzzlers or any kind of games like that, definitely pick it up. Again, I forgot to mention this on the last deal, but I'll have a link somewhere up here for you guys so you can see some more game footage just to get a better idea how the game works and how it looks. So you guys can make a better decision if you like it or not. Okay, our next game, which I'm very excited for, is Awesomenauts. Yes, Awesomenauts is on sale. Awesomenauts is a 2D platforming Dota style game. It takes the Dota style game and tries to pretty much just make it more of a retro, fun, old classic style game. It is a very good game. Many people play this game. I'll have links to a couple of them, but it's a very awesome game. Huge community. Not as big as League of Legends, maybe not as big as Holland, I'm not totally sure about the numbers, but it's a very big game. Lots of people play. You won't have 1 second of trouble getting into a game. And it is a 2D platformer style Dota game. So you still have the towers and the minions charging, but you also have this, I guess you could say, third dimension, even though it's a 2-dimension game. But you have the platforming aspect where you can actually go up in the air, you can drop down on people, drop through the platforms. It just adds a new, unique, interesting way to play a Dota game. Also, everything is skill shot related, so platforming is a big deal. You can dodge everything. It's a relatively challenging game. You have to have a decent understanding of Dota and platforming games to get good at it. Again, it isn't extremely hard. It's relatively a more casual, fun, easier game than the traditional Dota style games. So if you're into Dota style games but you're tired of all the raging and you're not, quite awesome, good enough at that game, or you're just not like great and you're just having some trouble, this is definitely a game you want to go to. It's a lot more casual, a lot more fun. It still has those, kind of so-called pros and people who are really good, but I think it's a little easier and more forgiving of a style. The mechanics around it are pretty simple, same as the Dota style, except for there'll be random health globes around, I guess you can call them, and these little squares that you can collect for money, and then the health globes for health. The game itself is 20% off, so it's down to $7.99, so $8. It's $2 off about. It's a great game. I highly sorry about that. I highly recommend this game. This game is a lot of fun. It's a great time. It's 3v3 action, so they didn't want to make it too big. It has, I want to say, I think 4 or 5 maps. They're constantly updating it. I believe most of the DLC is somewhat free, but they do sell skins and stuff just like any other Dota game. So yeah, they are. Also, the soundtrack. You can get the soundtrack with the game. The soundtrack's amazing. So that's only a couple of dollars more. If you're interested or like Dota games at all, this is a game to pick up. This game is great. This game is awesome. I can't talk enough about it. It's just a lot of fun. So if you're thinking about it, pick it up. If you want to, pick it up. If you like Dota style games, like, oh, I don't have the time, pick it up. The games, I think, are about 15 minutes maybe. I mean, it's a fun casual game. And if you ever get raged at and you're pissed off and you just rage from Han or LOL or whatever, go play this game. It's fun. So definitely pick this up. Okay, our next game is Kung Fu Strike. Everyone's Kung Fu. Okay, anyway, this is pretty much what it says, a Kung Fu fighting style game. It has a interesting kind of Tales of Chinese storyline with it. It has about 28 stages. The combat is more of the kind of arcadey combat. So we're playing this with a pad is beneficial, but it works really well with the keyboard and mouse. It's a very interesting style, kind of inky, stylized art. The game itself is actually really good. It seems a little ridiculous in parts, but it's kind of going for the old school fun. Let's kill a bunch of people and then have a huge boss fight. And each stage has that. You have a bunch of guys you gotta kill, then the boss. And this game actually is extremely challenging at times. And it's pretty darn good. I originally thought this was going to be kind of, another fighting game. It's going to be a little, unresponsive and all that kind of stuff. But no, they did a pretty good job, and the mechanics of this game are pretty interesting. I'll have a link up here so you guys can see the fighting more and kind of get more an idea of how it works and stuff better than I can just tell you about it, because it's a fighting game. The combat and all that stuff is very important. I personally have found that it's pretty good, but again, you're going to want to see some footage, so I'll link it up there and you guys can check it out. Okay, so the deal is 25% off for $7.50 pretty much. I'd say it's worth it. I mean, it's already a $10 game, so you wouldn't really be losing anything, and it's a good game. So for 20% off, I'd definitely say this is a good game. Definitely consider picking it up if you're interested in fighting games, or you're just interested from what you've seen so far and of the game footage I've linked up top. Pick it up. It's a fun game. I definitely recommend it for anyone who enjoys fighting games. And also the DLC looks like it's 25% off too. Okay, now let's move to our final game. Okay, our final game is Retro City Rampage. Retro City Rampage, I can't believe I'm going to say this, is a free world roaming GTA style game. Yes, I said it. It is based off GTA. Grand Theft oh my goodness. Grand Theft Auto. It is an 8-bit game, as you can see. It's pretty much a throwback to the, retro style. It's a kind of a nostalgia trip. Typically, these kind of throwback nostalgia trip games are, free to play and stuff like that. But this one's actually being released as a game that you pay for. It was released at $15, and it's offered 10% at $13.50. I will have a link to the game and the gameplay itself. Don't just discount this because it's an 8-bit. It may be 8-bit, but it's still done well, looks nice, and it's a lot of fun. Definitely check out the gameplay. I'm going to be linking. It has an enormous amount of fun options where you can customize the TV you're playing on, customize the game graphics, and like what kind of retro you want. Do you want Game Boy retro? Do you want like TV retro? NES retro? I mean, it's just a crazy, wacky nostalgia trip. It is a great game. Opponents are being a little ragey because it is an 8-bit game. It would be a little tricky. I mean, there's, I think 25 weapons, like 60 story missions, a bunch of arcade challenges around, I think 40 is it? Um, and then there's just a bunch of just random stuff you can find by free roaming around. It's an interesting game. Definitely, guys, if you like Grand Theft Auto and you like nostalgia trips and you like this retro style, this is definitely a game you might want to look at and pick up. I do think it's a little expensive, but that's just because I don't think people appreciate stylized games like this that much. I mean, it's an 8-bit game. It's not going to play like any other game that's been released today. It's going to play like old school games, and they deliberately made it that way. So yeah, there are going to be problems with it, but they put it in there exactly. It's a nostalgia trip. So if you're just looking for a game that plays like a game that would be released now but looks like a retro game, unfortunately this isn't for you. If you're looking for a retro game that plays like a retro game, this is definitely a game to look at. I mean, it's a bit improved, but it's pretty much the same thing. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff at all, definitely look at picking this up. I'm almost tempted to say wait till it goes on sale again for even less, but I don't know. It's one of those on the fence ones. I definitely think it's worth getting at some point. So guys, keep your eyes open for that and check it out. We're just gonna do a real quick recap of each game, retro style, and then just fun game. Definitely consider picking it up. Nostalgia like none other. So I would pick it up if you're interested into that stuff. If you're interested into fighting games and you kind of like this art style, and definitely check out the game footage so you can see how the combat system works, because that's super important for people when they're playing a fighting game, because there's preferences and certain things. It works well. It's a nice game. It's a lot of fun, and it's hella challenging at parts. So that I would say is a pickup. Awesomenauts, definitely a pickup. 20% off. It's a great game. Art style is a little fun. They try to make it sort of retro-y, but again, it's a platforming 2D Dota game. Definitely worth picking up. So if you're thinking about it at all, go pick it up. Try it out. It's fun. Okay, Blocks That Matter. It's a interesting indie puzzler game with the whole collecting like 4 blocks, placing those blocks, then going get more blocks, and just drilling blocks, and it's a very interesting way. Excuse me. It's a very interesting way that they have gone around the puzzling thing, and it's definitely a game you should look at. If you're interested in puzzles, I would pick it up. It's only $2. Okay, $2.50. Just pick it up. It's a good game. I would pick it up. And finally, Risen to Dark Water. This game, unfortunately, I personally am going to avoid. But if you're a fan of these guys and you like the Gothic games, this is a game you should get. I mean, it's 60% off. It's definitely a game worth getting. And if you don't want all the DLC, just pick up the game itself right here for $17. So if you like those games and enjoy that, and this is super interesting to you, pick it up. If you're kind of interested in stuff, I'd hesitate a little bit. Go check out the game footage and stuff. Okay, guys, that's it for me today. Remember, these are deals only up for a little amount longer. I'm sorry, I got a little late on them, so some of them are going to expire soon. But it looks like generally you got a couple hours to a day on most of them. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Please subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this and this helped you out. Share it if you think it'll help anyone else. Again, if you want to see the rest of my videos when I bring them out, because I'll bring them out like 2 a week depending on how the deal cycles go, and you want to see the rest of the deals so you guys can keep informed on what good games are out there, subscribe. That's the easiest way to get the games. So until next time, guys, thank you for watching. You're awesome, and I'll see you next time.